Morning, folks. It's 28th of January. We're Signal Centre Talking Ball. I'm Joe Neighbour, joined by Incoming and Steve O'Hare. Morning, guys.
Morning, lads.
Everybody all right?
Yeah, all good in the hood.
Excellent. Loads of news out and of goings on in the market, which is making our job a little bit more interesting today. As I'm sure you've all...
Carnage, isn't it?
Yeah. Starting off with Gamestop, as I'm sure you've all been following that. Shares soared to new highs yesterday, inflicting some seriously bruising losses on a number of hedge funds who continue to short the stock. So from what I've seen, short interest is up at 140% or something like that.
Something like that. It's in that report this morning. And then there's loads of mavericks out in Europe, aren't there, that are doing the same to some other stocks as well.
Yeah, so actively hunting the stocks that have got the biggest short interest on them and just buying the S out of them, basically.
Yeah. And then these hedge funds are having to liquidate other positions, and that's adding to the down move that we're seeing in stock indices at the moment, I think.
Yeah, the founder of Trybridge Capital, Anthony Scaramucci, has called it the French Revolution of Finance, and it's spreading across the world. So you're seeing significant outperformance from all these stocks that have got a lot of short interest. So some companies that we've seen, Unibel, Rodamco, Westfield, is that the shopping centre company? Yeah, it is, yeah. Clepier in France, that rose 22%. Pearson in the UK. So, you know, these are all being targeted. And a number of platforms where people are talking about these are being shut down. I see something on Discord banned. Wall Street Bets, for the Wall Street Bets forum has briefly shut out new users as well. So just
are they taking that decision to shut out new users?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Maybe they're
obviously the SEC is taking a look at it. So the SEC, obviously, if a hedge fund was trading like this, like taking buying calls in any sort of stock that's listed, nothing would be said. But because a group of 3.7 million active users has got together and said, this guy's short of it, let's
ruin him.
Well, yeah, I mean, I suppose they're not necessarily targeting the fund itself, they're targeting the actual whole thing behind what they can, you know, the sort of the establishment or whatever. But it's the hedge fund is taking an opposing position. So isn't that market manipulation as well? So that's what they're talking about, whether it's market manipulation or not. And I say to the SEC, no, leave it alone. Soon they're going to basically they're just going to stop retail traders trading eventually. That's what it looks like. They stopped, obviously, the short selling bans that were brought in last year, which were completely against our human rights, but they wanted to stop the markets being sold off, so they bring in short selling bans. I mean, if that's not market manipulation, what is? So you know, and sort of like, you know, central banks printing money, if that's not market manipulation, what is? Yeah. So, you know, you can't ever go a group of retail traders who've got together and seen an opportunity, seen an inefficiency in the market where they can take advantage of it. You know, so
power to the small guy, I say. You let him.
Power to the people.
Yeah, exactly. Just, you know, but I just can see them trying to shut it down for some reason. You know, well, I know for the reason, because they don't like it when us 99% of the poor population rise up.
Yeah, love it. We've got
a video on that, haven't we?
Yeah. Do not share that video, please, because we'll have all of our viewers hanging from the rafters by the end of the week. Because I definitely feel like it after watching that.
I'm sure he's banned by now, so don't worry.
Yeah. On to the other stories then. So European officials remain at loggerheads with AstraZeneca. They refuse to cave into demands that it will take its vaccine supplies from its UK factories and increase doses going to the European bloc. So they're really suffering in terms of being able to get vaccines in mainland Europe. And obviously the UK are stockpiling it all. So, yeah, I imagine we'll see that kick up again very soon. On the earnings front yesterday, Apple, Facebook and Tesla all dropped, posting quarterly earnings last night. They all came in very good. Apple's quarterly revenue topped 100 billion for the first time, but it didn't offer any formal sales outlook. And the executives at the company said that the growth from their wearables, such as the AirPods, will decelerate in the current quarter. And Facebook warned of significant uncertainties in 2021. So it was all a little bit meh, as Bloomberg put it on their email this morning. Then we had, obviously, Fed Chair Jerome Powell. He made it clear that the US bank was nowhere near exiting its massive support for the economy during the ongoing pandemic, and they will maintain their current bond buying program at a pace of 120 billion per month until substantial further progress towards employment and inflation goals have been made. So more of the same there.
Yeah, market didn't react at all to the Fed last night. It was all a bit of
No.
an anticlimax, isn't it? I think the focus is on other. Ooh,
The bat phone.
It's never rang that. I'm gonna. There you go.
I've got one that's exactly that. Sit next to me. Actually, I'll show you it.
You got one yesterday, didn't you, Steve? You were due for your vaccine.
Oh yeah, look, I like that one.
Like that. It rings like
you can put a lock on that.
That's the
well,
vaccine.
it's funny. The kids didn't actually know how to use it, so it's lock. Putting a finger in the holes.
Yeah, they didn't realise it was a windy thing.
No,
remember you used to be able to.
It takes like 5 minutes to dial a number in.
What did you used to be able to do here? Because I know you saw.
There was a little lock. This is really going back in time, but there was a little lock that clipped on that dial and round the metal bit so that you couldn't spin it round. So you used to be able to take the handle off the top, and say if you wanted to ring just 1 2 3 4, for example, you go 1 1 2 1 2 3 on the things at the top, and it used to ring the numbers.
Nice.
So yeah, there's always a way. You see, dodgy shoebury lads we were.
Picked out.
Yeah, that's why I left home.
Money on my phone.
That's why I left home at the age of 16.
Fantastic. So one last thing before I hand over to you guys for the charts is the Vix Index. Very big rise in that yesterday. Just chuck that on the chart. That's the hourly chart of the Vix. And as you can see, that has kicked up quite significantly in the last 24 hours or so. A very strong indication that we are seeing an increase in volatility. And usually when the Vix gets going like this, it can continue on for a good few days. So I guess you guys will give us a bit of a clearer indication of what we can expect from some of these markets when you run through some charts now. So who wants to go first? Who's got some interesting stuff to talk about?
I wouldn't mind going first, just because I want to briefly talk about stocks. Only because only because it reflects on the dollar index, and that's I couldn't talk about one without the other. Shall you go first then, Steve, and then I'll just counter whatever you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. Say the opposite.
Let Steve go first then.
Right, we can see. I'll spin through them quickly because I know how long Ian takes. We'll start with.
I spent all afternoon taking all those numbers off my charts, by the
way. Last 3 weeks have been quite negative, especially after yesterday's price action. We've seen the FTSE break down to levels, and the momentum is stalling. Obviously could have a little bit of a turnaround on the weekly chart, so be aware of that. Daily chart still offers a little bit of hope. We've got the Ichimoku cloud support. We've got a previous swing low coming in at 64.85, so just below where we're trading, and so we'll have a little trend line drawn here. So there's a little bit of support just below, but the momentum is still quite strong at the moment, so the chances of that holding are quite slim at the moment. But nevertheless, you've got to respect these previous swing lows that we've had market reactions from. 64.36 is the first level of support, and then under that we've got 63.09, 62. That's a 61. That's probably a previous one from back here. Yeah, 62.61. So levels to watch below on the FTSE for it to turn around. And well, actually on the hourly chart even, we've just hit the previous swing low. So that shows you what sort of reaction you can have. Got down to 64.57 and then reacted all the way back up to 64.77. Only a small rally up. On the DAX, a little bit more negative. We've broken through this triangle formation that was forming. Let's get rid of that negative idea there. This can be redrawn on the top. We've got resistance there, and this support was broken, and it had a swing back higher. I think we talked about this yesterday, Joe. I can't remember what we were talking about it on, but the head and shoulders formation, I think it was this one, it looked like another retest, and it seems to have worked. And then we've had the extension lower. So looking at really around 13,000 as the next major support level in the DAX. That's 370 points lower. It's already down 122 points on the day. So to get to that sort of level would need a severe sell-off. CAC on the 4-hour chart also has a support level around about 53.05. That's another 80 points lower. Now, what about the US? Obviously, we were talking yesterday about everything looking quite rosy, and prices were holding quite nicely around the Ichimoku cloud. The cloud has broken. We've had sell signals, and we've broken the support. So support in the Dow, which was the spike lower, which formed a bullish hammer at 30,560, broken quite clearly and quite aggressively, and we're about 400 points lower than that. So the next level of support in the Dow we'll take from this previous swing low, apart from the obvious trend lines, but that's around about just under 29,875. Nasdaq, similar sort of pattern. Like you say, we're getting funds that are having to liquidate positions. We've also broken below this short-term trend line from the start of the year, so we get a close below there in the next 4 hours. So that's 10 o'clock. This could be quite significant, especially if we manage to break the low at 12,896. S&P's broken the trend line really nicely, and we're in a short-term bearish move lower. Again, all these short-term, so be very careful with it. We know what these markets are like. All of a sudden, they just bounce back in your face. So I'd be very careful. Gold, which seems to be the pattern in gold, it seems to follow stocks at the moment. So we're seeing the break below the cloud, but it's still sort of like a negative slant to this price action. $25 it used to be a decent level in the silver. We had a swing low here, breakthrough here, but then it reacted higher, formed a bullish engulfing, a bullish outside candle on the 4-hour chart, but pressure has continued. So $25 is the level to watch in silver. That'll be quite pivotal, I think. Copper still seems to be, if we look at the daily chart, still seems to be holding up quite nicely. Actually, the weekly chart would be better.
Maybe a bit of a rounding top there for taking shape.
Yeah, again, I think it almost feels like a little bit temporary.
Bit of a crossover on the oscillator there as well.
Yeah, the MACD, the momentum stalling, that's a weekly chart. So we need to get a close really around this level, around about the $3.50 level. And then I'd be very wary of sort of like a bear run next week, maybe. Obviously, copper has had a great run up because China are importing a load of copper because their economy is booming.
They're fixed.
Well, everyone else is not. Huh?
They're fixed, aren't they, now? Their economy, they're all sorted.
Oh, yeah, it's all fixed. Well, it wasn't broken in the first place. It's just everyone sort of seems to want to stop their economies.
I saw the investigation team over in Wuhan were allowed out of quarantine today. I think they got there a couple of weeks ago, so they can start their investigations. But obviously, the breakout of the thing was back in March. So if there was any evidence of wrongdoing there, it's been completely cleaned up now, I would have thought. It'd just be a wasted trip, won't it? There'll be hiding all sorts of evidence.
Jolly Boys called Jolly Boys outings, mate.
Yeah, basically.
No, I know it's. I don't want to get into it really. After watching the video.
Yeah.
I've got another one. I've got another one for you.
You shut up. You better not, seriously.
No, I'm not sending anything else over today.
Yeah, good man.
I'll wait till Friday.
That's me done.
All right, thanks,
Yeah.
Steve.
Wait till Friday.
Yeah, perfect. Sunday
Really-
night. Send me one then if you can.
Yeah, really depressed by then anyway.
Yeah. So all go in the currency markets today. Looks like Aussie getting a bit of a kick in, but
Yeah.
chuck it over to you, Ian. See what you can see.
As I said, I just want to very, very, very briefly just look at stock indices. This is US 30 Wall Street. And if you go to these charts, these are DMARC charts, which I look at quite a lot. And basically, if you get a 9 count, and this is US 100, I'll go to US 30 first. These are big 9 counts as well. They're not off sort of intraday charts. This is a weekly chart. So a 9 count will normally dictate that you get a correction lower within 4 candles. So you can see here, got 9 count corrected lower, got 9 count correcting lower. If you go to the US 100, which is Nasdaq, and you go to the monthly chart this time, you've got a 9 count here. So these are warning signals, and a lot of institutional banks use DMARC indicators. So it's sort of professional money, if you like, that it's backed with. And if you look to the monthly charts, and this is a monthly chart on US 30, we're getting quite a nice doji candle, and we're also getting a nice doji candle here, and I think on virtually every UK 100 spinning top. So they're all big warning signs that there's inverted hammer, maybe it's extending a bit lower on Germany 30, but they're all warning signs that this could be over. Now, if you go to intraday charts, and this is what I wanted to talk about, because I just wanted to express a little bit of care this morning. So this is the initial sell-off in Wall Street. So as far as Elliott wave is concerned, down in 1, up in 3, and then this impulsive move lower, but we've paused at 131.06, sorry, 301.06. Now, this is consolidation time, but you can also get wrong-footed here, because you can wait for a move to the upside and not get one, and then it just crashes all the way down to 261.8%. But what normally happens is the same as here, is this inside wave is in 3 waves. And if you go to the hourly chart, that's 1, that's 2. So are we going to get just a mild correction lower, higher, just to complete that 4th wave? And then maybe with the US guys, when they're in and all these hedge funds are getting bottom fiddled, that they will then move to the downside. And it's the same with Nasdaq. So Nasdaq has hit a 161.8% extension, and if we go to that shorter time frame, it's just holding on to this swing low. So as long as this swing low is held onto, then there's potential for a higher correction. So the reason I wanted to mention that is because then going back to the dollar index, which we talked about yesterday, and this is basically what we were looking, or what I was looking for, was this sort of 5 waves up, then 3 waves down, and this is a 50% pullback level, and we mentioned that, and we said that the prime long entry would be around about here at 89.70. But what has happened is that we've moved up towards the previous swing high. Now, these could now be just seen as channel formations or flag formations. So these channel tops are very important. I'm wondering whether or not this morning we're just going to dip lower while that 4th wave corrects higher in stock indices, and then we get a breakout. And the reason why I think that the dollar index dip, if we do get one, is going to be short lived, is because of this. So this was dollar CAD, and we've had a really nice breakout of this wedge formation, and the target level is up here at 129.62. I know that will probably be driven by weaker oil, but we didn't even get a retest of this breakout. But again, there's a little warning sign that you might just get a mild correction. They've got a 423.6% extension here, so maybe a mild correction lower to buy into. But I think the main focus, if you're currency trading today, is to watch those indices and watch for the completion of that 3rd wave correction if you want to play the dollar or the risk assets. So sterling dollar, this was off this 261.8% extension that we mentioned yesterday. There was an outside bar on a 45-minute chart, and it aggressively moved lower. If we're looking here again this morning, thinking that the indices were going to keep on selling off, you got that move lower in sterling as dollar gets bought up, but we've got another false breakout on this wedge. So I think the call today is just to try and get in on small rallies. Obviously, anywhere up to here, sort of 137.10 would probably be prime. Again, same thing with euro dollar. It's looking prime for a break to the downside, but you've had this is the 8-hour chart. You've had loads of indecision here. I don't think we're going to break to new highs. This was a prime short entry that I talked about yesterday. I think if you get any sort of sustained rally up, then it's worth looking at getting short. And dollar Swiss, again, 5 waves up. We're looking for a sustained move to the downside, but this is again looking just like a flag formation now. So again,
reverse head and shoulders.
Yeah, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. I did have a trend line going somewhere else, but yeah, because I had that on there. But yeah, I agree with you. I think it looks like it's gonna break out, doesn't it, to the upside, and that being a flag or a right shoulder. So it's all looking a bit bullish for the dollar. And because it's looking a bit bullish for the dollar, it's looking negative for risk. And last one, I suppose, is dollar yen. We talked about this yesterday. So 5 waves up again, that flag formation. A full flag would take us a lot higher up. But because this is also obviously dominated not just by the dollar, but also by the yen, which have a tendency to go in the same direction with risk, I don't think this move higher is going to get there. I mean, there's even an inside sort of fib here. So I'd look for maybe just a break to the upside. What cipher patterns look like? So here, basically 104.70. So it's a 127.2% extension of that move and a 224 extension of this move. So sort of anywhere in this zone, I think it's quite a good level to get short. And as Joe was saying, I was hoping for a move to the upside to try and get short in Aussie dollar, and it's just broken this what now looks like a descending triangle formation to the downside. If we get a retest again with selling in the dollar, then obviously a retest of the breakout level is a prime short entry now, 76.62. Not quite sure about. Well, that just looks bearish, doesn't it? That's New Zealand dollar. That just looks like it's had the correction and it's now in the third wave lower. So again, sort of any slight moves to the upside, and I'd look at getting short. That's me.
Lovely. Nice one. Thanks.
Thanks, mate. Okay, so gun to the head stuff from yesterday.
Disaster.
Yeah, it wasn't a great day yesterday. Obviously, there was a bit of an uptick in volatility as we've seen. Let me just share this screen, and a little bit of a downtick in our P&L. Steve, you managed to not get stopped out on Bitcoin. Yeah, it was at 0.78R down at the 9 p.m. close. Ian and I were both stopped out on our trades, but you know, we've had a fairly decent run, so it's to be expected, I guess. But hopefully we get back on the horse today. Any of you got anything you fancy?
Yeah.
That was quick.
Yeah, well, I'm just going to go with the same trade as yesterday, really. Yeah. We're trading around the same level. Just the 32,000 level didn't quite get breached yesterday, which was the stop level. So I think going in there again today. I'm selling it as tad 950, 30,950. So it's a little bit lower than I was selling it yesterday. So the stop can be just above there at 50. Keep it nice and clean. So what have I got? I've got 1100 and put no naught on there. 5-1. The trade idea today. Selling at 30 is Bitcoin at 30,950. The stop at 32,050. The target 25,450. So I just have to adjust my alarms on there to nice and easy. I sort of think there's potential for, if everything continues to be sold off, Bitcoin will get sold off as well. I don't think it'll necessarily be a safe haven today.
Yeah, agreed.
Especially
Okay.
the dollar's rallying.
Perfect. Good luck. Ian, have you got one? No, I haven't. So
I'm struggling a bit. I'm going to go this CAD yen. I think the fact it's broken this previous swing low, and it's just, I mean, I'm looking at all these yen pairs, and I think it's CAD yen or New Zealand yen really for me. I'll go New Zealand yen actually. So it's broken this swing low. As I said before, I think we're in third wave. Prime short entry would be here, 74.35, but we go with the flow. And I haven't got a clue where the target is. I'm just more worried about the stop. This is third wave, so it could get to 161.8%, but that would mean that fifth wave completing today. Oh, that was a good guess. There you go. So getting short at, I'm trying to nick pips, aren't I? 74.16. Targeting 74.40. I can't have that big a stop. I'll go for that. So getting short 74.16, targeting 72.44. We'll stop at 74.66. Gives me 3.4R. New Zealand yen short.
Cool. I'm going to take a look at the ASX 200. This is the 4-hour chart. So as you can see, it's been grinding higher. Seems to have reversed at these highs at 68.40. Potentially breaking out of this channel. This is a 4-hour chart. Seen obviously a spike through it, but then a recovery back into that channel, but posting a bearish engulfing, or what looks to be a potential bearish engulfing now on that 4-hour chart. So I'm going to sell it here at 66.36. Going to target a 38.2% correction lower of this move here from the swing lows down to the 21st of September. 5.55R stop at 66.76, and that target 64.14. So
lovely.
Let's see. Yeah, already obviously had a very sharp move, but I couldn't really see much else that I fancied. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, so there's your 3 trades for today. On to data today. We've got US initial jobless claims at 1:30. We also then have the 4th quarter GDP reading for the States. GDP is expected to have grown by 4.2% quarter on quarter in the US. So keep an eye out for that. And then shortly after that, at 3 p.m., we have the US new home sales, which is expected to rise by 2.9% month on month, again in the States. So, yeah, a little bit of data due out today, and more volatility, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Looking forward to it.
Else to add, gents?
No, all good, yeah.
Excellent. Okay, well, best of luck if you're trading today. Good luck with your trades, gents, and we will be back tomorrow morning.
Cheers. Thanks.
Enjoy. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.